Welcome to the Blessed Podcast. I'm your host, Raquel. This podcast is to help you experience being blessed that transcends a mere hashtag. Let me add my disclaimer. I'm not an evangelist, preacher, prophet, or Bible scholar. I'm a God-worshiping, Jesus-loving, Bible-believing, New Thought Christian who believes that God blesses us according to our faith and how we work His promises. So, if you're ready to be encouraged and grow your faith by hearing how God is blessing His children, you're in the right place. I'm broadcasting on WYTV7, Christian Broadcasters Network, a nonprofit charitable radio broadcast with a mission to empower, encourage, and educate. Donations are always welcome to help further the mission. You can donate at www.wytv7.org. And today's podcast is sponsored by Tolson's Publishing. We write books to make you think about what you think about. So, it's still November and I am highlighting millennials in my life. Millennial men, to be exact. And this week is my millennial, Larenz Tolson. So, I always start with how I met the person or how I know the person.
Wow.
And of course, he's my son, but I have the greatest story of how we met, our first meeting. I know this sounds really crazy, but this is how we met. So, no, it is really deep though. So, when I was pregnant with Larenz, I was unmarried, still unmarried, but I was unmarried. And because I was a church girl, it kind of did something to me. And I cried like a lot during my pregnancy. I had Larenz, and his godmother was there to attest to this. I had Larenz in the hospital when they put him on my chest. You know how he greeted me? By putting his hand on my face. And he looked at me. And I know everybody's like, babies can't. He looked me dead in my eye, put his hand in my face, and it was like he was saying, I'm here now. Everything is going to be okay. So I called him my sunshine. That was our first actual meeting. That was brilliant. His godmother and I, we both like cried. We like freaked out because it was just so sweet. So that's how I met you. That's our first meeting. Nice. Look at that. You were awesome.
Oh, ouch, word.
But you still are. Because he works for Delta and he lets me travel. Ooh, but you're awesome. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about you. You just graduated this year with your master's in secondary education.
Yeah,
congratulations with that.
Thanks, Mom.
He wanted to be a teacher like his granny and his grandpa.
Yeah, it's just something I like to do.
Yeah, he's a natural born teacher. He really is. But of course, Mom, you know.
She doesn't want me to be a teacher because she thinks I'm supposed to be a superstar.
Yes, he is. He is.
But I am a star in my classroom.
Oh, yeah.
I get the attention of everybody. So.
Yeah, that's true. I get it because when I was a teacher for that little short time.
The teacher of teachers. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. It is. It's like your very own stage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's
every day.
Every day, and you get they have to
and there's a new audience.
Oh,
there's a new audience every day.
It's a new audience. It's the same class, right?
It's a shifting schedule, so you know.
Okay.
I get different shows basically. Each period is a new show.
But each period, because what do you teach?
Well, right now I'm the coach for Make Waves Music. It's a student-run and student-organized record label at Hamilton High School. You can check out some of their music at Spotify, Apple Music, and...
Wait, Hamilton High School has a studio? How do they have that?
So, about 3 or 4 years ago, Hamilton is just a known name in LA when you think about music academies.
It's a music academy.
And the program that I actually graduated from, the electronic music department, got cited out by Adidas because they were starting to build what they called sound labs across the country at different high schools.
Adidas, the tennis shoes.
The tennis shoes.
Okay.
So there's one in New York, there's one in Detroit, I think there's one in Chicago, and now there's one in LA. And Hamilton was named the Adidas Sound Lab. So they came in, built a nice state-of-the-art studio within one of the old unused classrooms, which used to be an auto shop. And at first, when they got it, it was downstairs while the classroom itself was upstairs. So my mentor, my teacher at the time when I was a student there, he was like, hey, since you just graduated from your undergrad, you should come help us out as a coach because I can't be in two places at once. So that's how I started my career as a music coach, and I basically just help students make music in the studio, teach them about etiquette in the studio, teach them engineering and how to use the equipment that we have, mic choices, mic setups, basically using everything that I learned there as a student and in college.
Okay. But when we gonna become a teacher?
In the works.
Next year, right?
Yeah, next year.
Because your teacher is retiring and he's handing the mantle to you.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Things we're moving pretty fast paced. First, when I graduated from undergrad, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had a lot of different plans, and none of those plans worked out. Even took a minute and stepped back and thought about joining the Air Force for a little bit. Because I was like, I don't want to pay my student loans. So how can I go to school for free, But things really worked out. I started going back to the high school as a marching band assistant coach for the drum line. And while I was up there, that's when I ran into my mentor, and he was like, hey, we got a brand new studio, but I need help. And then everything's kind of worked from there. And then another one of the teachers, as I was coming in to volunteer, because this is all volunteer work at first, she was like, why don't you just get your master's in education and come teach here? And I was like, I'll look into it. And then found a couple of schools. One just so happened to reach out. Shout out to Grand Canyon University. I did an online program for 2.5 years, and now I'm a master's in education. And it's all perfect timing, and I can't help but say I've been feeling blessed ever since.
Yeah. Okay, so sound and styles coach. That's what you're starting your new business, and because when you're coaching the students at the high school, you're teaching them about their sound and how their style, and so you know that you can help others. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so when I tell people that I'm going out as the sound and style coach, they're like, what is that? I've never heard of that. Because, I mean, most of the time in the music industry, you think of, like, vocal coaches, you think of managers, you think of producers. But you don't really hear someone say they're a sound and style coach. So what I mean by that is, based on my experience as an engineer, I'm very particular about how things sound. And I can tell when someone's trying to, like, mimic someone else's sound, or I don't know if you watched that show on Netflix with T.I. and Chance and Cardi.
I have not.
Rhythm and Flow. They always were talking about, like, that's your sound. Like, that's how you sound. And they gave a lot of credit to people when they had their own unique sounds and style. Mm-hmm. And so that's just what I do. I found myself doing that at the high school as the music coach up there, and was just like, hey, I know these are your influences, but how can you be different than them? How can you stand out? Still be in the same realm of things, but what's going to make you you? So that's really what I'm trying to do as a sound and style coach. And then not only to help you formulate the basis of your music, but also to create smart musicians and start smart artists who know how to take care of themselves, handle themselves in this industry. Because it's not easy. And that's something that I also teach my students in the music business class. It's just that you have to be able to navigate on your own and not just take everybody's word for it. You need to kind of pretty much know everything and how to do everything until you can afford to pay other people to do it.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not really, it's starting slow. I can say sufficiently I got one client right now, but hopefully based on his success, go check out Fourth Note on Instagram and SoundCloud, and we'll probably have a Spotify up for him soon, but definitely on SoundCloud. Fourth Note, he's dope. Getting him some tour dates going right now in Hawaii, so his manager's working hard on that.
Cool. So, you have a CD. All right. So when Larenz was 3, he saw Kirk Franklin and Bugs Bunny playing the piano, and he was like, "I want to play the piano like Kirk Franklin and Bugs Bunny."
But it was really Bugs Bunny who won me over. He had, it was the concerto one, and he's sitting there at the piano. And before he takes a seat, he flips up his coattails, and I was like, I want to do that. That looks like flair and fun. That's what I want to do.
So when he was 4, we put him in piano lessons. At first, the teacher, she was like, I never take him this young, so I don't know. Don't go out and buy a piano yet. Let me see. He went to the first lesson with her. After the lesson, she said, go buy a piano. He can play the piano. He already kind of knew. And so he was playing the piano, but then when he got 10, he kind of got bored with the piano. And I was like, no, we need to keep doing it. So I came up with the idea of him producing his own CD at 10. So tell us about your CD at 10.
So the CD she's mentioning is Renz Rhymes.
For those of you that are listening, he's showing the Renz Rhymes because we still have a copy of the CD.
Yep. I have hard copies and digital copies available. But Renz Rhymes I was just playing piano, and I was always going to church, and we knew nursery rhymes like 10 Little Indian Kids, 3 Blind Mice,
row
your boat.
Yeah.
But we never really had any like Christian nursery rhymes where we could, talk about Jesus in these kind of nursery rhymes. So I'm playing these songs, and I'm like, maybe we could put words to them. So my mom worked on lyrics for it.
Well, you did too.
I did too. I came up with some of the words,
Yeah.
So, and see, that was my
row your boat, yeah.
From row your boat. But I didn't want to do it by myself, so I asked a couple of my friends to come and join me and be my choir. So I was the Kirk Franklin to the children's choir, except I can sing.
Kirk Franklin!
Shots fired! Kirk Franklin was a good dude. If you're watching this at any point, it was very nice meeting you. Right? You were always my hero, so perform with you at BET.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's so funny because you just performed with Kirk Franklin at the BET Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the guy in the purple suspenders and,
doing a little matrix
so, you ever watched that? That was me. And that was super cool.
So tell me this, Renz Rhyme though. Do you think this is the reason why you want to start producing and things because of having your experience producing your CD at 11? 10?
I don't know if this was the reason why I got into it. I've always been musical,
No, I mean, but producing, not just playing. You actually got to produce a CD, and now you are producing and recording and sound styling and all that, not just playing the music.
I think it definitely opened my eyes to the possibilities of music, because I'm interested in all of it. I'm interested in the business side. I'm interested in the performance side. I'm interested in the, producing to new artists and getting them out there. So I definitely think it opened me up to something that a lot of people at my age at the time weren't open to.
Right.
And it gave me a little head start. So speaking of head start, when I got into Hamilton High, Actually, there was never a summer school class for it ever. And I was like, I want to take it. That's what I want to do. And they even have majors, academy majors at Hamilton. And I knew I wanted to do performing arts music, but they had like so many different tracks. And I was like, well, what's this electronic music, So I took the summer class, found out what it was. It was just, the beginning class of music technology, giving us the history of music technology, history of synthesizers, and then a broad look at using different digital audio workstations to create and produce your own music. I was hooked. And I actually impressed the teacher so well, who's currently my mentor and soon to be retiring teacher, that he put me as a freshman into his advanced class. So I was in his advanced class for 4 years, which was absolutely unheard of. But I did it, and it's really crazy to think looking back, and it's just like, look at where I'm at, full circle, and I'm trying to, now I'll be taking over for him by next year. So it's just like, this is definitely where I'm supposed to be, and each step kind of led me there.
Right. So we went from Renz Rhymes, which is still available.
Yes.
And on Renz Rhymes, there is the bedtime prayer.
Yeah. So
what have you done with the bedtime prayer?
So the bedtime prayer was always like our single. We kind of saw it that way. We used to have little posters for it with the words on it, because we wanted it to be something a little nicer than Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray Lord my soul to keep. It's just kind of scary, and even back then I knew like religion wasn't supposed to be scary.
Right.
It wasn't something that was supposed to make you fear more than you felt the love. So bedtime prayer was really just a prayer that I wanted to say as a kid, that just said thank you, telling the Lord like thank you for the good day that I had. Life with you makes me glad. Your angels have me in their sight with godly dreams throughout the night. So it's not something scary. It's actually something hopeful and something that like kids really should be praying about, especially nowadays. We have the posters, and those were going really well, and so we wanted to change it up and do something a little different, and we decided to make Bedtime Prayer a book, a children's book.
Renz Bedtime Prayer children's picture book.
Yeah. So it basically just goes lyric for lyric. Each page will have words
and
pictures to go with those words. So Lord, it's bedtime once again. There's Renz with his granny and getting ready for bedtime.
So you did the CD when you were 10. How old are you now? And the book is just not coming out.
Yeah, so I'm
15
25 now.
Yeah.
The CD was done when I was 11.
Well, you were doing it at 10.
Okay.
You kind of in the year.
So, it took some time because, we didn't really know. But we felt like now was a good time. Now was the right time. Now that we've got Tolson Publishing up, Mom's got a couple of books and stuff that you all already know about if you're loyal fans. But it was definitely something that we felt like needed to be revitalized, just to put God back in the narrative, and maybe not in the way that most people think.
Well, so for me, because it's a joint project, on the back of the book, I wrote this. It is important to read to children early to develop their brain and speech. It is also important to pray with your children early to develop their resilience. I for one thought it was time because children aren't as resilient as they need to be in the world today. I mean, bullying is very bad.
Yes,
shame on bullies. But also we have to teach the kids who are being bullied to be a little bit more resilient, to understand that this too shall pass, or figure out, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, so they don't have to like me. It's okay if they don't like me, because, these kids are killing them. So like I said, I'm not blaming the victim. Bullying is bad. But when we build some resilience in our kids, I don't think we would have that type of, they don't like me, I need to kill myself type things. Because I grew up as a fat kid, wearing glasses. I wasn't athletic at all. I got talked about not just by the kids, but I remember my gym teachers calling me fat girl every day. That was horrible. When you think about that, a teacher was kind of bullying me. But I didn't kill myself because I was just like, well, I like to eat. So, it is what it is. You was a fat kid.
Wow.
You were a fat kid.
I was husky. So said my clothes. A husky child. You know?
What'd you say? It didn't say fat.
It was just extra padding. That's all.
Okay, so I'm just saying, but we have to teach our kids. Kids have to, because most of these kids know they have parents that love them. And their parents are devastated when they do that. So it's not about parents not loving. I don't blame parents. It's not about parents not loving these children. It's about we really have to teach our kids, everybody ain't gonna like you. Yeah. But God love you.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. And like I said earlier, it's just that whole taking the fear out of religion and really putting the love back into it. And that's something as a New Thought Christian that I'm really starting to see a lot more of. And even if we don't talk or say the word God, it's just like there's something in the world that is always giving you love.
Always.
There's always love around.
The universe is sending you love
all the time.
All the time.
And it's just about being able to see those things.
Right.
But with like bedtime prayer, it's really just thinking about how good the day was, even if it was small. Playing with your friends, having a good time with one of your parents.
It's basically what we're trying to do is teaching the kids that they're blessed.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
That they blessed.
They're blessed every day.
And you just, the little things.
The little things.
I was able to play with my puppy dog today.
Yeah.
Blessed. Me and my mama was eating popcorn and watching a movie.
Yeah.
Blessed.
Yeah.
I got to go swimming at my daddy's house.
Yeah.
Blessed.
It happened.
I know who my daddy is.
Ah.
Blessed. I'm just saying that was a little joke, but but still. But watch this, because even if your dad wasn't, because your dad wasn't always there for you, but did God not send somebody else?
Well,
to step in when he wasn't there.
And that's the thing too. I hear this a lot from a lot of my students. Actually, it's like either they have their parents both of their parents at home, which they're blessed, or they come from a single parent household like I did. But that's also why I think I went into teaching as well, was because I was blessed enough to have men in my life who kind of stepped up.
How can people get the book?
So we're actually doing a signing on December 1st at our church at Understanding Principles. The address can be found Queen.
I just know it's Queen Street. I don't know it's behind.
If you know the Roscoe's on Manchester off of the 405, we're located at the Lutheran Church, literally right behind the parking lot.
Yes. We'll put the address up.
We'll be there December 1st after church at 3 o'clock for the Up Marketplace, selling these books and signing them.
And some CDs.
And we'll also be selling some CDs, so you can get the combo,
A great Christmas gift.
Great Christmas gift for the little ones in your family.
Right. And then what about the sound and style coach? If somebody wanted to, hire you to help them with their sound.
If you're looking out for me, you can go to Instagram and just type in Larenz Tolson. That's Larenz Tolson. And that'll lead you straight to me. Show you some of the engineering things that I've done, some of the students that I work with. I highlight some of them, and maybe you'll be the next one.
Okay. And is there anything else? Oh, so I just wanted to say I have on my purple because this week was special for men that love purple.
Yeah, that royal purple and old gold Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated celebrated 108 years. Roots to all the good brothers out there. Founders Day was on Sunday, November 17, 1911.
Yeah, so
Roots and Q's.
Real quick though, how is it to be your grandfather's frat brother? How is that?
That's cool. I'd be like, what's up, bro? You know?
Sometimes you call your grandpa bro?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
It's all in the frat.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there anything you would like to leave with the people regarding maybe, because if they have, most of my listeners are probably around my age, but if they have millennials that are, in school still, or even thinking about going back to school, what would you talk about with the whole school?
For me, I enjoyed school because I looked at it a little different than most. I wasn't really there to really learn in class. I was there to learn outside of. It was a great chance for me to be away from home. My undergrad anyway. And it can get really stressful. So if you have children or family members who are in college right now, the biggest thing is just be supportive. A lot of people don't talk about how hard college is, especially being away from their family. So try not to have expectations and let them know that you have high expectations for them, but don't really make it feel like they're not living up to those expectations. We all live different ways. We figure things out on our own. Just have faith and, just be there to be a helping hand and to, be a support system rather than a place or feeling that they have to hide from. I think that's really the biggest thing I can say. And for those who are interested in going back to school, good luck.
You went back. You got your master's. This was what?
Yeah, I got my master's, but it was tough. I was a working student. Had the 2 jobs that I have now, working at the airport and working at the high school. So it's definitely a juggling act, but it is possible. Take your time and be well organized. I think that was probably the biggest thing that probably saved me a couple of times was when I was at my peak organization, I had better grades.
That's something instead. Shout out to Scott Parker and made you do that, right? To stay organized. Yeah. Okay. Well, so we have to wrap up because that is our time.
Wonderful.
But I do want to do, because we have 2 minutes left, and I do want you to just, you mentioned real quickly about New Thought Christian. How has New Thought changed your mind about religion?
Well, I was getting turned off by it. It wasn't really interesting to me. I used to, sing in the choir every fourth Sunday, but I never really paid attention to the preaching. And I feel like now with New Thought, it just takes everything in my life and kind of makes me see things differently. It's just, it's really about the mindset. When you have the right mindset, things just kind of happen. Just my life the past 3 years. I've kind of somebody would introduce a new idea, and it really depended on how I thought about it. And interestingly enough, once I finally had that belief in me, which is something that we talk about, it's not just, it's really about understanding that this is what you want, so you have to speak it and put it into existence. But once I actually started believing it, things just start happening. I actually just got my first interview request from LA Unified after I finally did the work to get it in. So, but it happened real quick. So it's just things like that just kind of keep me. There's nothing that I can't do as long as I really put my mind to it and put my whole self into it.
All right. Well, thank you for being on Bless.
Can't wait to be back.
All right. Thank you, guys. And remember, what God has done for others, He can do the same thing for you. Be blessed, everybody.